Friday, here it is, man. The month is buzzing by again.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I was so like, part of this month has been getting back to my nutrition and getting back to being disciplined about the workout. So I took a before picture 2 weeks ago, and then I didn't realize, I was like, wow, it's basically been 2 weeks already since I took that picture. It's like, that's fast. June is moving.
We're already, Shay and I, we're deep into August. We're like talking end of August, September. September, going to be an exciting month. You wrote a book. We are planning the September launch of Mark's book, which I won't give away anything, but the future is bright. The future has some fun things in it. But staying in the present, the heir to the throne is getting after it. So he gets here and he gets right there.
I knew you were going to grab this.
This is just unbelievable, dude. I spent the day with him yesterday. Well, Jake really did. I give Jake a lot of credit. I kind of was in and out. He is such a wonderful kid. He just
it's the watching him grow and the changes of age and how he develops. He is a cool little human being now, and it's funny to see the effect of him watching for the past 5 years and to see the way he is starting to move into his own little individuality. But he wants to come in on my calls all the time, like wants to be a part of it. So when he wanted to hop up at the desk the other day, I was like, oh, I got to get a picture of this because it's too good. And then I used it for some content.
I made I was the keynote for a celebration for Bank United yesterday. The Palm Beach territory, Amy Ouellette crushed it. She asked me to open the ceremonies. So I was on Zoom, there's a bunch of people there. And then I went off camera, to just my picture. And he comes up and he goes, I put it on mute, but he was like, what's the picture? Are you really there or are you not there? It's awesome, So really
inquisitive.
Really, really good stuff. I got to get out and see a little bit of the Lauderdale nightlife. For those who know me, I'm, those days are gone for me. I used to hit every party and everything. I don't really do that anymore. But Carlos Suarez, who founded Venice Magazine, had their anniversary and cover launch party. All white. They were at the door. If you did not have all white, you did not get in. And it was a beautiful, beautiful event. I told them, I said, dude, this is like a wedding, man. It was the right, just everything right. And people.
It looked fantastic. It looked
beautiful. It was kind of cool. Great thing. Saw some great people. Had some fun. But all good stuff today. I have unbelievable content. We will close the Friends conversation with our friend Adam Grant. Show me Adam Grant, if you would. Mark, read that.
Yeah, so this popped into my feed yesterday, and I immediately screenshot it and sent it to you guys because I was like, here it goes. The conversation continues. Adam Grant says, a friend remembers your favorite food. A true friend tells you when you have food in your teeth. Part of caring about people is helping them see their blind spots and shielding them from embarrassment. Honesty from a friend is not a betrayal or attack. It's an act of kindness.
So if you're not following Adam Grant, I mean, he lays out some absolute bombs of reality of like, this is what this really means. So just crazy stuff.
It's a great cap to that friendship conversation. And just, we had talked about all of the traits. And that's another great one, is the honesty that comes from someone and the way they help you see your blind spots, which the natural human instinct is to get defensive about, but that's how you know who your true friends are.
That's exactly right. So lots of good stuff coming up, new content. We'll talk about failure. How about that, man? Failure is your friend on Friday. Shay, give me some wake-up music, please.
Help, yeah. Wake up, everybody! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Wake up! Come on! Come on! Wake up, everybody! Teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen what you have to say. Wake up, everybody! No more sleeping in bed. No more about to thinking, time of thinking ahead. Come on now.
So I had a conversation this week, and part of the dialogue back to me was, "Oh, it was Sunday, and I don't work on Sundays." And I was like, "Okay, so you gave yourself a day off. That's fine. There is a time and a place to chill." I said, "But have you considered?" And my man Rock is going to take us to Sundays.
Even on Sundays, you got to put in the work, or whatever it is you got to do. So I am an evangelist on a little bit of Sunday work. Always helps. It's good to unplug, and it's good to recalibrate, but sometimes that Sunday work is a special day because not a lot of people are putting it in. So again, it's that quiet work you do away from everybody else that really makes the difference in terms of your success.
Yeah, I mean, he's not saying you got to work all day Sunday.
Correct.
Right? It's not telling you to treat Sunday like Monday. He's telling you to do a little bit of work, because when everybody else is taking Saturday and Sunday off, it offers you the opportunity to, get that edge on somebody or get that little bit extra.
So for those who don't know, I wrote a book, and in that book, one of the rules is TGIS. So a lot of people get up on Friday, they go, "Oh, thank God it's Friday." Used to drive me nuts in my organization, because if I heard you say that, I knew you checked out already. Done. You're thinking weekend, happy hour, you're done. And I'd say to people, listen, you can't do that, because you're off Friday, and then you're off the whole weekend. You come back Monday, it takes you till noon to get going. When are you working?
It's part of what I love about my gym that I go to is Fridays are actually the hardest day of the week. Like, they save the biggest ass kicker workouts for Friday and Saturday. Like, so if you go back to back Friday and Saturday, you are getting the two hardest workouts of the week, which I love, because instead of coasting and being like, it's Friday, we're just going to do a few curls and we're going to, make ourselves feel good. And then, hey, let's go to happy hour. You are sweating, you are grinding at the end of the week, which is what most people don't do, right? Like, in sports, it was always finish Friday, right? And what did that really mean? That meant finish through the line. What did a finish look like? It was head down, full sprint, all out effort all the way through the finish, so that you were not giving anything up at the very end.
So I've been committed to this for a long time. That's why I wrote it. It was one of those things, fundamental principles. But if you want a real hack, you want to be successful, do what most people don't do.
Right.
Really that easy, 95% of the people take off Friday afternoon at 3:00.
Yep.
Work through it, man. Work a little bit Saturday and Sunday morning. And here's the takeaway, which is amazing. When I started to really gallop in LinkedIn, I found Sunday mornings was the most engagement with other CEOs who were doing the same thing I was doing, man.
Right.
So on Friday, think about all that stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Rock. There's a new feature, Shay. I don't know if you...
Well, quick shout out. It's Paula Bird's birthday.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Wow.
Yeah. So thank you, Bob, for pointing it out to us. Hope everybody in the huddle wishes Paula a great birthday today. Paula, we appreciate you being here every morning and all the engagement you give us.
Yeah, and she's bringing some friends to the party.
Yeah.
So good stuff. Speaking of gold farb, I'll be gold farbing up on Monday. Bobby's making a visit, but he visited Howie Craw. He visited Brian Lynn. He visited Casey. He's working his way right through the huddle, man.
Getting busy.
Busy. So created a new feature. Shay, were you able to make something for the feature? There it is. Clear thoughts. And this will be a feature that we share on a regular basis. Clear thoughts come from our friend James Clear, who wrote, in my mind, the most defining book outside of my own and certainly Mark's, but Atomic Habits and his newsletter, which I turned last Friday, I was able to speak to Advocate Health, and I was turning them on to books, things that this was the #1 book I think you should read. Well, his newsletter is equally as great. It sends it out once a week. 321 gives you all these thoughts. So this week was thoughts about habits. Wouldn't you know? Atomic Habits. So he had a quote. I'm going to read the quote. Your habits are how you embody a particular identity. When you make your bed, rule number 2, you embody the identity of someone who is clean and organized. When you study, you embody the identity of someone who is studious. What identity are you embodying today? Who are your habits helping you become?
I love that. I mean, that's the reality is we can all have goals, we can all have aspirations, but our habits either define us or we define them. Because if you just say, well, I'm not a habit person, I don't really, subscribe to that. You have habits. You're just not paying attention to the habits that are being built. So we are all creatures of habit. We do things instinctually of habit. So if you're not paying attention to the habits that you're building, the habits then build themselves for you, and they then define what happens to you, as opposed to saying, no, I'm going to be in control of building the habits. But I think when he talks about building habits and he builds perspective on it, I love that, because most people say, oh, it takes 30 days to build a habit, or it takes 60 days to build a habit. But just like anything, there's levels to a habit.
Right.
How ingrained is it in your identity? Like, is it part of who you are, or is it just something that you're doing? Because those are two very different levels.
Very different things. And so I think it creates an expectation. So if your habit is showing up on time, right?
Sure.
You're setting an expectation. When I show up with video, which is my habit now, I created that habit to think video first. I am showing up differently than everybody else. So you have habits, whether you like it or not. They are either good or bad for you.
Correct.
That's the challenge. Hey, I have a habit of get home every night and drink a 6-pack and eat a pack of donuts. That's a habit.
It's the first step for me in helping people understand time management is, instead of trying to build out the habits that you want, just reflect back and look at what you're doing and start to realize that the habits that you already have. Because if you don't know what your habits already are, you've got no way to figure out what's working for me and what's not working for me in order to build a strategy to move forward.
So Jeff, great job. Rereading books is great. That's why I like the physical book, because I'm a yellow marker guy. I like to, take it.
Also known as a highlighter.
Oh, true. Yeah. I'm still using a Rolodex. What do you want from my life? I'm sorry.
You could use a Crayola yellow marker.
Hey, look at the scoreboard, man. I get it done. Shit. So here's what he put into writing, which I now have on my bathroom mirror. It takes 21 days to form a habit, 66 days to find a habit's flow state, 1 year to make the new behavior automatic, 2 years to make the habit form part of your identity, but no one ever tells you that. We think powerful habits can be created quickly, and there are different levels, different levels of engagement and intensity. So here's the thing. Brushing your teeth is a habit.
Yeah.
It's an activity that you are taught to do.
Trained to do.
So it's, the reality is all of this stuff matters. James Clear is great. We'll be bringing you more stuff, but here's a hack for all of the people and all of the recommendations that we put out there. When I read a book, right after it, I go and I find the cheat sheet. There's like a one-sheeter that, summaries are all over the place. I forgot what they used to call it when I was in school, but I used to read that before the book.
Cliff notes is what they called them when I was.
That's right. I used to read that before the book and say I read the book.
It was actually the only part of the class that I would read was Cliff
Right. I was like, did you read that book? Absolutely. No doubt. Right? But they're great because I keep them as quick reminders. And a lot of my daily habit when I read is to pull a one-sheeter from Robin Sharma or Seth Godin or, Jocko, any of those they work. They put the good thoughts. That's a good habit. I've got some really cool motivational music, and that'll bring us to Failure Friday. The motivational music today, 1978. This was the #1 song.
Sandy?
Tell me about it, stud.
I got chills, they're multiplying, and I'm losing control. 'Cause the power you're supplying, it's electrifying.
You better shape up, 'cause I need a man. And my heart is set on you. You better shape up, you better understand. To my heart I must be true.
Nothing left for me to do. You're the one that I want. Honey, the one that I want. Honey, the one that I want. The one I need. Oh, yes, indeed.
Boom!
Stands the test of time. Absolutely stands the test of time. Like,
1978. When I graduated high school, that song was #1 on today's dates. What a phenomenal song. Still, to your point, still stands the test of time. But what's really, really cool is that in the game that we've decided to play, you got to figure out if you're the one that they want.
right.
It really stays with me. And sometimes you're not, and that's
Yep.
okay. So I've identified 5 major failures that are just topics for us to talk about on a Failure Friday, because if you embrace the suck, if you embrace the fact that you're going to fail, and I've been having this dialogue all week with people, 7 out of every 10 things we put out there are going to die. Okay.
Yeah.
Get
I
used
mean-
to the numbers. It's failure.
To me, that's a leadership principle, right? Like any leader within an organization should be trained on how they handle failure. I think there's certain things that, we've talked about the 24-hour rule. We've talked about extreme ownership. We've talked about a lot of the things that go into, dealing with failure. But I think everybody, if you're going to be successful, it has to be a trait that you understand and how to apply it.
So there's 5. Do you have them in front of you?
I have them. I had them open, but I don't.
Okay.
Have them open.
You want to rock and roll with the first one?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Failing because you are blaming everyone else, to then taking accountability for your own life. So, this is that game where, extreme ownership, we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
This is reality, folks. This is not some buzzword theory bullshit, make you feel good or not.
I'll make it political right now. To me, what's wrong with every politician in the country is nobody displays extreme ownership.
Right.
Everybody points the finger to the other side of the aisle. That's not leadership. We don't have real leadership.
No.
So to me, when I stood in front of the team on a Sunday after we lost on a Saturday, I took responsibility for what we didn't do well. This is on me. Here's what we did wrong, right? Here's where I let you down. Now you hold people accountable to what they need to do. But that single principle of just because something's not your fault doesn't mean it's not your responsibility.
Woo!
All leaders have a responsibility in failure.
Shay, give me
Pulls up, 3-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good!
that's woohoo! Breathless, man. That took my breath away, man. Great shit. Number 2, failing because you are blowing through red flags. This one is one of my favorites.
Yeah, you talk about that one.
I want all of you to think if you've ever had a bad client relationship. Oh, by the way, everybody raises their hand. When I do this live, which I'm doing BOMA next week, and I'm speaking in Palm Beach at the end of the month. I'm actually speaking twice that week, Seminole. And anyway, you ever have a bad client relationship? They go, okay. Yeah, absolutely. You know it. You can see the person. You can see the company. I go, when did you know that it was a bad client thing? And they go, well, probably in the first couple of minutes. Yeah. So all you saw was, green. You saw green, green, green when there's red and caution going right in front of you. I'll give you a perfect example. I go to your office or we're on the phone and you are telling me right off the bat, hey, listen, I just want you to know I want the cheapest deal. I'm looking for the best deal. That's how I built my whole business. Have a fucking nice day, bro.
Thank you. We're not for you.
We are just not. And I go right to, we're not a fit. And they go, what do you mean you're not a fit? I go, you can clearly go to the next cheapest guy if I match your price to some, So this is notorious in the banking business. You sell on price and on rate. There's no loyalty. There's no trust. They're not your friends. They're taking from you, not giving. So I love that one. One of my favorites.
Sure, it's transactional, but I think as you enter into whatever that conversation is, you talked about it earlier this week. What's your intention there, right? And if your intention is to only sell, you're constantly going to ignore red flags. If your intention is to build it the right way from the beginning, you'll be far more likely to see and pay attention to those red flags and not get caught up in what's the one thing that I'm trying to do.
I mean, your gut is going to tell you, it's very much the same thing in dating. Someone walks up and you go, not feeling it,
Sure.
If you pay attention to the clues, listen to your gut. Your gut always knows. Give me another one.
What's the next one?
So the next one is failing because you're making loose agreements. And so I'll unpack that for you. So if you don't crystallize the deal, and this one could fit into a couple of categories, but there was somebody pending working with me and they keep kind of pushing it off. And then a couple of days go by, I'd sent them a tickler and they go, busy summer. I have this, I have that. Let's table this to the fall. And I came right back at her. I went, so when I hear that, I hear somebody who's not interested. Just say it. Just get to the point. Well, you're right. I'm having second thoughts and I don't know the value and it's expensive. I go, happy to have another dialogue, but you got to want to do this. I'm not selling it to you. So loose agreements, people consider that a yes. I'll put it on my list for the fall. Bullshit.
So taking responsibility for that is understanding that maybe you didn't communicate. Maybe you weren't clear in your upfront contract. Maybe you didn't set great expectations, right? That always comes back to me of when if there's not clear follow-up and clear next steps, I didn't do a good job.
Correct.
I wasn't clear about what my expectation was for us to move forward together, or I didn't do what was necessary. Own that, right? And then you put your feet, put their feet right back to the fire. You said, I'm happy to have another conversation because maybe I didn't do a great job communicating it, right? But when having that ambiguous, what's the next step? And everybody's going, I'm not sure what the next step is. You can't live like that.
When someone says to me, yes, I want to go forward. I want to start in June. And now it's the middle of June and they go, well, I really don't understand the program. Seriously? Were you at the same coffee meeting I was? Like, I didn't push her to sell. Oh, this is so exciting. I can't wait to do this, whatever. And 6 weeks later, you know what? I don't play that game.
Look,
I don't want to do business with that person.
I had somebody ask me for the contract. Send me the contract, right? Great. Sent them the contract, right? Nothing. Followed up. Hey, did you get the contract? Are you ready? This is what you said you wanted. Absolutely. I'll get it back to you by the end of the day. Nothing. So I followed up and I said, I don't know how you do business, but anybody who asks for a contract and says they're going to sign and then doesn't is not somebody I want in my world. I know it's a problem I have. I have a hard time saying no. What do you mean you have a hard time saying no? You said yes. Why would you ever say yes if you didn't have the intention to follow through?
Why would you say yes? I mean, she's got to live with that. You said yes. I didn't go, hey, you have to say it. I was shocked.
But it happens. but it happens,
All
right?
the
And so
time.
dealing
I don't
with
play that. I don't play that way. You know why? Because my habit is to be a man of my word, so
Yep.
that I show up. Whatever I say, I do. That's one of my best. We are way over time, way out of time. We're going to end the week. My speech on the 27th is going to be all about this stuff. It's about what you're thinking and what you're doing, the say-do ratio. It's going to be really fun. I'll post how you can get tickets to it on Monday if you want. Have a great weekend. If you're working Saturday or Sunday morning, reach out to me and I'll bang you right back.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night, one more